As women's educational attainment and professional opportunities expanded in the late 20th century, standard economic logic suggested the quality of traditionally female-dominated sectors would rise in tandem. Instead, the relative quality and skill composition of K-12 teachers and early childcare workers declined. This graph tracks working-age women in childcare by education. While broader female education rose, the highly educated share entering this field stagnated. For cohorts born between 1940 and 1950, the trend lines cross. Less educated workers rapidly surpass those with more education. Childcare became an increasingly common destination for less skilled women, while highly skilled workers began to look elsewhere. This human capital flight from the childcare sector coincided with a specific change in the American legal and biological landscape. Economists Chris Herbst and Erdal Tekin suggest that this shift was an unintended consequence of new reproductive technologies. Their research focuses on two specific policy changes: the FDA approval of the oral contraceptive pill and the legalization of abortion. Legal access to these services did not arrive all at once. It rolled out on a state-by-state basis throughout the 1960s and 70s. This chart shows states granting legal pill access by age, continuously lowering the age of consent over 15 years. A similar pattern occurs for abortion access before the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, showing a sharp increase in states providing legal access. By leveraging this state-by-birth cohort variation, the researchers can compare women who came of age with legal access against those who did not. This link demonstrates how biological autonomy functions as a driver of labor market sorting. To ground these findings, the researchers look to Gary Becker's household production model. Becker's model assumes individuals maximize utility by allocating time between market work and home production, which includes things like domestic labor and child-rearing. Childcare is an occupation with high skill complementarity to home production, meaning it shares a similar skill set to work traditionally performed within the household. When reproductive technology lowered the cost of delaying fertility, it changed the opportunity cost of time. High-skilled women could now delay childbearing to pursue specialized, higher-wage careers outside childcare. At the same time, less educated women entered childcare as a viable employment destination. These technologies raised the opportunity cost of low-wage care work for some, while making it a primary destination for others, splitting the labor supply along educational lines. The data shows that the pill and abortion access affected these two skill groups in different directions. This matrix reflects the findings. Full legal access to the pill reduced the likelihood of childcare employment among high-skilled women by 20. Average years of education fell by roughly 6% as the share of workers with degrees decreased. Real hourly wages also declined, with abortion access associated with a 21% wage drop due to the influx of lower-skilled labor. The private household sector saw the largest wage decline, matching its role as the primary destination for this new labor supply. The decline in education and wages within this sector is a byproduct of women moving toward more lucrative professional opportunities. The diverging education lines we saw earlier are now explained by this labor market sorting. When we mark 1960 and 1973 on this graph, the structural break in childcare quality aligns with the arrival of these technologies. While reproductive autonomy was a net positive for women's educational and socioeconomic advancement, it left the childcare sector with a talent gap. Childcare generates positive externalities for the whole of society, but the market does not compensate workers enough to keep high-skilled labor from seeking better-paying fields. This is the reasoning behind contemporary legislation, like the CCDBG Reauthorization Act, which focuses on raising wages to retain more qualified workers. Without public investment to improve compensation, the childcare industry remains at a disadvantage when competing for high-skilled talent. In 2022, the Supreme Court decision in Dobbs overturned Roe v. Wade, ending the era of federal protection for abortion access. States have returned to a patchwork of laws, where access depends entirely on geography, a landscape that mirrors the pre-1973 map. Research from Herbst and Taken suggests that these restrictions will likely lead to increased birth rates among younger, less educated women. These recent shifts in the law have the potential to change occupational sorting and workforce composition once again. Reproductive access remains a leading indicator for the future composition and quality